After Ms. Bhuya's wonderful music interlude, we are set to start with our next panel discussion, which is on harnessing Assam's sporting potential, creating a core identity. Harnessing the state's sporting potential is both a social and developmental priority. It's no secret that the Northeast is teeming with talent, but to identify as a powerhouse in the field of sports, it will require unabashed commitment to strengthening the sports ecosystem in the region. And to discuss this further, may I introduce our experts for today. Our first panelist is Mr. Larsing D. Sawyan, a sports administrator, entrepreneur, and one of the driving forces behind the rise of football in the Northeast. Mr. Sawyan's passion for sports has been instrumental in transforming Meghalaya into a vibrant hub for young sporting talent. As a managing director of Shillong Lajong FC, he played a pioneering role in giving the region's players a professional platform to showcase their skills nationally and internationally. I welcome Mr. Sawyan to the stage and request Ms. Divija Rajkwal, Director, Assam Tribune Digital Private Limited, to felicitate him. Our next panelist is Mr. Madhurjya Barua, currently working as Executive Director, Strategy and Corporate Affairs, Oil India Limited. Mr. Barua is a distinguished sports administrator and corporate leader with over 3 decades of experience driving excellence in both the corporate and sports arena. He is a former India #1 badminton player and national champion who represented the country at various international tournaments. I request Mr. Barua to the stage. Our final panelist is Mr. Jayanta Talukdar, an Arjuna awardee. Mr. Talukdar has represented India in various international competitions, including the Olympics and World Championships, earning medals and acclaim for his precision and focus. May I request Mr. Talukdar to join us on stage. To moderate this session, may I please request on stage my fellow colleague from the Assam Tribune, Ms. Nasreen Habib. A senior journalist and a Shivning Fellow, Ms. Habib currently serves as the General Secretary of the Assam Women Journalists Forum. Committed to socio-economic equality and change, Ms. Habib has collaborated with grassroots organizations as Mazdoor Kisan Shakti Sangathan, as well as with international organizations including Gender at Work and UNICEF. Thank you, Ms. Rajkar. With our panel now assembled, I will hand over the floor to Ms. Habib to lead us through this discussion.
You know, football in Shillong is not just a sport, it's an emotion. From taxis that announce whether you are an Arsenal fan or a Manchester United fan, to the incredible energy of the club matches, it's something else. I once watched a local football match in Maulai. It was in the middle of a hailstorm, but the stands were absolutely packed. Coming to you, Larsing, as the owner of Shillong Lajong FC, the first club from the Northeast to qualify for the Indian League or the I-League, you've really led the way to sports entrepreneurship in the region. But there are many skeptics who compare the I-League unfavorably with the ISL. They say that the ISL is where the big money is, Star Sports is, big sponsors are. But tell me, in terms of real infrastructure, is there a difference between the two? Should there be a difference between the two? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, thank you for your question. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, that one question that you've asked me would actually take me 2 hours to answer. But to put it briefly, as you've mentioned, a question between the I-League and the ISL. So what's happened in Indian football is that till the early 60s, India was actually amongst the top Asian countries. We actually won the Asian Championship sometime in 1960. But in 83 onwards, when we lifted the World Cup at Lord's as a the Cricket World Cup. That's when the sport nation of India became a single sport nation for about 25, 30 years. And there was just one sport that took over the landscape of sports in India for over 3 decades. That resulted in stagnation of sports while the rest of the world evolved. So just to put it in perspective, in the late 80s, Japan and India were equally ranked as far as football was concerned. But they set up what was now called a J League, a revolutionary league in the early 90s, with a clear-cut 50-year vision plan to become the best in Asia. They didn't look at a 10-year plan, 20-year plan. They came up with a 50-year plan. And in that process, not even more than 30 years later, we see Japan is amongst the top 2 nations, top 3 nations in Asia. And the reason for that is the investment into a professional league sporting system. And what we must all understand is that developing athletes, developing sports, entails the same concepts in terms of HR as developing engineers, doctors, technocrats, musicians, and so on and so forth. Luckily in India, we had the IITs and the IIMs and the medical colleges very early on, and that helped us develop a human resource in that regard. As far as sports was concerned, unfortunately, barring that one sport, we as a nation never really invested in grassroots, we never invested in infrastructure, as well as an ecosystem. Now coming to your question, having actually been involved in both the leagues, maybe some of you may not be aware, but in 2014, Shillong Lajong Football Club were the lead bidders for the ISL franchise in Guwahati. And as lead bidders, we set up Northeast United. And the first year, we were playing the league together. The football club, the company was called J.A. Lajong Private Limited. But immediately within the first year, what we realized, or personally what I realized, was that that was a little bit too much of a big game with a lot of uncertainties for a club like Lajong to be a part of. We didn't want to dilute our long-term agenda, be just a brick in a very, very uncertain wall. So we decided to disinvest. And through those disinvestments, we went on to concentrate towards creation of that institution. So we immediately procured land in the banks of the Umiam Lake in Shillong with a long-term agenda to set up a center of excellence for football. Because what we realized was that within our constraints, our objective was always to promote football. And what we could do properly was at least build from the grassroots again. We've done that for 20 years. That's what took us to where we were. First team from Northeast to qualify for the Indian League, then a lead bidder and a franchise owner in the ISL. But we realized it was time to go back and set up an institution on ground rather than, burn resources that we didn't have. But having said that, it is very, very important that the ISL becomes a success. And luckily today, 10 years down the line, the ecosystem of football has been created. So today, the champions of the I-League can actually qualify to play for the ISL. And in that still remains our long-term agenda. But as of now, we are still more committed towards creating that center of excellence, that IIT of football, or the IIM of football, or the AIMS of football,
Right.
which we hope we will achieve in the next few years.
Yeah, great. I'm glad that there's a system of merit where if you do well, you get promoted, just like in the classroom. Madhurjya, coming to you, we know you as HR guru, but I believe before you were the HR guru, you were actually a star sports person. You were the #1 badminton player in Assam for 6 consecutive years. You were the state captain for 7, and you represented the state and the nation at prestigious international tournaments such as the Malaysian Open, French Open, Thailand Open. That's a long list. So could you go back to those days, and could you remember a moment or a memory which has shaped the person that you are today and guided you through this journey from the sports field to the oil field?
First and foremost, very warm good afternoon to all of you. Indeed, a privilege for me to be here. Thank you, Assam Tribune Group, for having me, and esteemed my colleagues here. Well, I would like to just correct the announcer announced. I am at present leading the fields into Liaison of Oil India Limited as the Executive Director, HR and Field Administration, looking after the entire HR and admin and rest of the part in the field here. Back to my sporting career, of course, become nostalgic speaking about it. My journey from Joe Road, Guwahati to Wembley in London for practice. Then, as you said, from the sports field to the oil field. This indeed is an eventful journey. I have learned so much in this transition period. Of course, I have grown, but yes, my days, used to start well in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning, cycling from Chu Road to Nehru Stadium for training, and back and forth. And on certain occasions, I even used to spend the whole day in the stadium. But I would claim that, probably some of you will be knowing, I claim to be a product of Assam agitation. You know why? During those days, the schools and colleges were all closed. There was no classes, and what boys and girls would do. But I utilized that whole time playing badminton and training for the game. And I really did very well within that, couple of months.
So, Madhurjya, you're actually the example that our parents always used to tell us.
Yes, yes, it has to be. But nevertheless, I didn't give up studies. I always say studies and game can go hand in hand. We have got examples in our own company, in our own sporting arena, where we have got, excellent sports person, and having done very well in their education also. So it's doable. Only thing is that, once you are dedicated, you are a diehard sports person, you need to carry out your, education, you need to practice on a daily basis, at the same time, carry on with your education.
Okay, so the lesson I learned is that you have to wake up at 4 a.m. and then you can do both.
Yeah, people still do, yeah. A lot of people still do.
Okay, that's a tough one, but thank you. Jayanta, since I've done my homework, I know that you have been an archer for an incredible 26 years. And you have actually been to countries that I could not even find the name of in a map if asked to. You have represented the nation at international tournaments all over the world, and you are an Arjuna awardee, of course. But Jayanta, we still don't have archery, like an archery academy in Assam. So when you wanted to pursue archery, you actually had to shift to Jamshedpur, join the Tata Academy there, and really jumpstart your professional career. So how important is corporate involvement in the life of an archer, especially because it's such an expensive sport, as I've learned from you. The equipment is expensive and it needs support. Could you throw some light on that?
Good afternoon, everyone. I think it's very important for any sports person to have a proper support. Whatever I am today is only because of the Tata Archery Academy and the Tata Steel, because I got all the facilities and support which I needed to improve myself and win medals for our country. But I think the company, they started Academy in 1996 to support rural boys and girls, because in Jharkhand, there are many Adivasis, they use traditional bows for hunting. So the company thought that maybe they could start an academy and support their boys and girls so that they can win medals in national or international levels.
Jayanta, sorry for cutting you in, but we also have a very deep cultural relationship with archery. We have Tir here, so if it's part of the legacy in Jharkhand, it's the part of the legacy in Assam and the Northeast as well.
Yes, that's my point is actually, not just in Jamshedpur, even in Assam, there are many talented archers. They are really doing well in junior level. But to achieve in senior categories, they are not getting proper support, whether it's equipments or proper diet, nutrition, or the guidance from the coaches. So I think an academy is very important, because archers, the only thing they should focus on is on their training. But I have seen many archers from Assam, they have to plan for their training, then they're traveling to get their equipments. So I think it's very disturbing for them. And I think it's very important that we have an academy, and corporate support is also very important, because a set of bow is about 4 lakhs, and 1 dozen arrows is cost us around 60,000. So every year we use 4 to 5 dozen minimum arrows and 2 set of bows that we require. For that, the parents, they can maybe buy 1 set of bow for their kids, but buying every year, it's not possible. So I think it's very important for our archers, for our state, like especially for the juniors, that they get proper support.
Absolutely. Larsing, coming to you, you've played a big role at the national level in a leadership position. You have served 2 terms as the Vice President of the All India Football Federation, I believe, where you have worked at grassroots entrepreneurship and you've worked at building and nurturing talent. So if I ask you honestly, what really you think would work in strengthening Indian football? Is it grassroots training? Is it infrastructure? Is it money? Or is it something else? And also I'd want you to throw light on the example of Aizawl FC, where a whole community really came together to support rural football. And is that a model that the rest of the country can closely look at?
I think this is an extension of my earlier introduction and start. So yes, football is no different. I think not only football, I would say even any sport, there's no difference. The most important thing is actually engagement. Fundamentally is the engagement with grassroots talent. Because as we all know, human beings between the age, I'll just explain it scientifically, between the age of 5 and 12, this is the time when as humans we absorb the maximum amount of absorption takes place. Our motor skills, our way of talking, the way we talk, everything is absorbed during these very, very important 10 years between the age of, say, 4 to 12. And unfortunately, in most sports, we don't engage with sports at that age. So essentially, for a sports person to achieve his or her maximum potential, they should have been playing a certain sport at least from the age of 5, 6 till 12. It's like how as children, we find it difficult to eat. But by the time we're 10, 11, we don't even think about how we eat. It comes naturally. So sports and the different techniques involved in sports has to have the same sort of system. So therefore, grassroots, definitely. It's like, primary education. Subsequent to that is the ecosystem of competition, which has to be at a very, very high level. And intermediary to that, of course, is that when these kids engage regularly by the time they're 12, by 13 to 18, they should be in a center of excellence, like the Tata Academy that Jayanta was talking about. In fact, I will place it on record that the Tata Academy, not only for archery, but for football, is what single-handedly carried the burden of many sports in the country for about 2.5 to 3 decades, when nothing was happening. And our model at Lajong was to exactly replicate what Tata did in Jamshedpur, because we knew that they're picking up the best talent at the age of 15 in the nationals, bringing those best talents around that mid-90s, which Jayanta mentioned, into the Tata Football Academy. And this is where the resurrection of football happened in India. India, post-independence, we had a Talimaran Ao was the first captain of India. But in the 50s to the 60s to the 80s, late 80s, there was a blackout. No players from the Northeast at the national level. Because I guess we were still a nation in formation. It was only when Tatas started creating this academy, searching for talent, they'd go to the nationals, pick up 20 kids every year. Invariably, 60 to 70% or 50% of those kids would be from the Northeast. Those kids graduated and started playing in the National League. And that's how the whole resurgence of Northeastern players into the Indian League happened, into the Indian National Leagues happened. At Lajong, we wanted to follow and replicate the Tata model. We said if Tata did it by selecting players in Subroto and Delhi, we'll do it by going to the gullies of Meghalaya and eventually the Northeast. So therefore, academy and center of excellence very important, and eventually the ecosystem at which they have to play, where they earn their livings and the infrastructure set at that league level. So these are the three important aspects as far as sports development is concerned.
Absolutely. Thank you. So badminton is a sport that I think all of us at some level have played. And we were under the misconception that we are really good at it. But as I've realized, professional badminton is another ball game altogether. And Assam and India seem to be doing really great at it. Guwahati just hosted the BWF Junior World Championships in October. We also have a badminton academy here where Asmita Saliha, she's from Assam. She won a gold medal at the South Asian Games, and she had a foreign coach. She trained right here. We also have the Khelo India Center for Sport Excellence in Sports in Hosai now. So yeah, a lot of the infrastructure is coming up in terms of badminton, and I believe that you have had a big role to play in it, Madhurjya. And so I would really ask you this question in regard to your role at All India Limited. And what is the role that this organization and other public sector undertakings, and what is the trajectory that you see in the next 6 or 7 years? Are there any grand big plans that you want to sort of talk about today and seek a little publicity?
First and foremost, if you see badminton and Assam, it's been quite synonymous. Our badminton players, ex-stars like Pradeep Chaliha, Deep Barua, they have been doing well in badminton since quite early, since almost late 50s. They represented Assam also, they did well at national level. When I say did well, yes, to quarterfinal, semi-final level, it was only sometime in 80s, early 80s, or, Assam badminton players started knocking at the doors of Indian team by virtue of winning national titles. So, if you relate Assam badminton's development, it started quite early. Now, when our batch came in, or maybe a little senior batch came into badminton, at that point of time, badminton was purely concentrated in Guwahati, in Kanaklata Indoor Stadium. It was the heart of badminton of Assam. And 2 badminton courts there, and led by our guru, one of the pillars of Assam badminton, Pradeep Chaliha. He started that coaching setup in Kanaklata Indoor Stadium. And that was the beginning, actually. The professional coaching setup which has started in Kanaklata Indoor Stadium. That's how started the revolution of Assam badminton. And that's where, that stadium, the 2 badminton courts of Kanaklata Indoor Stadium started producing players like, our seniors, Mallika Barua, Susanto Bora, myself, Dipankar, we all are product of that. And how he did it is a fantastic thing. Actually, he himself was a player, Assam player. He captained the Assam team. He borrowed a concept called Player of the Month tournament from Maharashtra. And he used to conduct a tournament called Player of the Month. It was a kind of a vision we used to have to win that tournament. And by virtue of that competitiveness which he brought in there, the Player of the Month tournament, almost 15 to 20 good players started coming up. We had good batches, almost 100 players, 120 players. Among that, we were fighting. And from there, we started coming up. And ultimately, what had happened, the game of badminton started flourishing in Assam. Then, of course, started in peripheral areas like Jorhat, Golaghat and all, Dibrugarh, they started. Now, if you say the development of badminton in Assam, it is started there. Now the journey has come. Now we have reached a stage, we have massive infrastructure, fantastic infrastructure. As you said, we had the World Junior Championship
big round of
very,
applause
very
for that.
recently. Of course,
Yeah.
for that. And of course, this is something where, Assam badminton deserves a, salute, because you need guts to bring in those tournaments to Assam. Now, with relate to that, I would say, you need to develop the entire sports ecosystem and the badminton ecosystem, which is already there in places like Maharashtra, in Hyderabad, in Chennai, they are there. So we need to bring in that, that infrastructure, talent development, right? Then the events are there, then the sponsorship are there, the coaching plans has to be there. The entire ecosystem has to be built. So it's time now that, we plan properly with a proper mindset, sit together, and create a framework, a plan to create a sporting or more specifically badminton ecosystem in Assam. And we've got tremendous talent here and tremendous talent pool actually.
Okay, so it means that apna time aa gaya, right? This is
Yeah,
our
thank
time. Jayanta, I believe that the first ever archery league was held in October. It just wrapped up, and it brought together men and women archers, recurve and compound archers both, in a franchisee style tournament. And I don't know what the impact of this is going to be, but how do you feel that this is going to change up things for archery in India, where you have foreign players also coming in?
I think it's a start, and the Indian Archery Association, they are trying really hard. There are many international archers, so they came and they participated. And their Olympic medalists came, and then the both event was there, recurve and compound, and the format was totally different than usually we play in any tournament. But for me, they still need to work on some areas. But it's going to help our Indian archers, because playing with the foreign archers, how they perform during their competition, and even they can learn from them, because the technique and skill, the equipment setup and everything is different than what we use. I think in like APL, it's going to help our Indian archers, and also what I feel is in district also, like in Assam also, to help our Indian Assam archers. It's very important to start more and more tournaments in a district level, so that our Assam archers can showcase their talent and improve their performance.
Right. I also think it's an opportunity to talk about the archery league, so that we have more people watching them, and then we bring in more sponsors. I think that is how
definitely.
it works.
Sponsorship is very important for Indian archers.
Larsing, coming to you, there was a match last month that was supposed to be really significant. I haven't watched it because it was not live streamed in India. It was only shown on Thailand national television. But as our sports reporters told me, Goni specifically, that this was a moment in football, women's football specifically, that could be a turning point, and the national team could, in fact, they stand a chance now. If they win in the 2026 Asian tournament, they could be playing in the 2027 FIFA World Cup. So women's football in India could be even bigger than men's football. So this is a game changer. But are we really putting our money into women's football? Are we supporting it? I mean, yeah.
Yes. So what you said is very, very correct. In men's football, we are unfortunately a few generations behind. We lost the plot somewhere earlier in the decades, as mentioned. So to catch up with Japan, we'll have to move twice as fast, thrice as fast in the next 20 years to even reach what they started in the 90s. In women's football, on the other hand, India is ranked around the 67 as of now, in 190 odd playing nations. Whereas in men's, we're 130. So for us to break into the top 50 of world football is far, far easier. So the opportunity for an Indian football team to be playing in the World Cup is far easier, or let's say chances are far brighter if we up our women's game and take Indian women's football to the next level.
So on that note, I think we'll need to wrap up. If we want to take in audience questions, which we would love to.
Yeah.
Right,
If
Joshi?
anybody has any interesting question.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's a
We are
lovely
very-
comment. We are all very
We are
proud
very
of
proud
you.
of all of you, because we know that Northeast can be the center of, it can be the hub for sports activities. And I think we need to promote in all the states. Academies should be there in all the states. And our youngsters are wonderful. I know that because I have worked almost throughout Northeast in different states also. And if you see so much of potential is there. And that spark is there. All that is required is some support and infrastructure. And best of luck. I think the efforts that you are all taking is wonderful. Thank you.
We have one question there.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, my question is to Mr. Barua, sir. Sir, may I know how you maintain both your sports and studies? Because I am also a sports person and I also represent Assam in Kho-Kho at Delhi that held in 2024. And I got scholarship from Assam Downtown University, and I am doing MBA from Assam Downtown University with 100% scholarship. So may I know how you manage your sports and academy?
Yeah. Please tell us your name.
My name is Sanjana Rajak.
Okay, can I add to that actually? Because she speaks as a student, I speak as a teacher. All right, so, you know, we have recently switched to NEP, the new education policy, which actually gives space to proper credits for sports. You can study sports as a subject, but while it is there as a policy, it is not really being implemented in its proper spirit across all the universities. I'm wondering how people like you can actually make a case for this, push it to the government. Is that anywhere in your agenda?
Yeah, I'll take this. Very interesting. First and foremost, compliment to the girl there. Relevant question. See, it's like this. First and foremost, you have to have a very supportive school administration. Your principal, your teachers. Okay. You have to have your program on a daily basis. You need to plan. You will definitely you are going to miss your classes. All right. So there, your teachers, you need to have support from your teachers and your friends to have your notes. In our times, I was not a very good student, okay. I was only 2 legs, okay. Thus, I could manage. So how I did it, it was like I used to be in touch with my fellow students, my colleagues, my friends and teachers. And I would always ask them what was there in the classes, what I missed. I always wanted to know. And when I used to be in the coaching camps, I can give my examples. On travels in second class, I used to carry my books. I used to study, whatever. I used to carry books and, make notes. At that point of time, we never had mobiles. We just had STD calls, telephones. I used to understand certain things over telephones also. It is your intention. It's your intention to understand what actually you missed. If you want to do it, morning, evening, whatever time you get, just focus on your studies and also, sports together. It is doable. We have got examples. Just one example I'll give. in Oil India Limited, we have Mallika Barua. She is a, it's MSc, she's an MSc. She was doing MSc and she was representing the country at that point of time. It was amazing. So just one example I'm giving. So it is doable, only thing is it's your intention. Continue with your studies on a daily basis. It has to be on a daily basis because you are missing your classes. You have to miss training sessions also at times, which you can't afford to do. But at times you have to miss your classes also for training or playing or coaching. So this is one thing. Second thing, ma'am has said the education policy, new education policy. I would like to say that I have had a couple of meetings with Government of India. I am pushing it that, the certain points to be given to the performing sports persons at every level. So we have created a couple of levels. I am in one of the committee forum where Government of India Ministry of Sports is met. We are trying to make kind of a change curriculum wherein credit points can be given to performing sports persons so that, sports person get encouraged. And also, one more information, ma'am. Sports coaching and technical aspect of the game is absolutely crucial, technical. So we are pushing that, why can't sports coaching, why can't it be a part of the skill development curriculum of the country? So we are working on it now. I'm pushing, government is listening, but nothing has been done so far. Hopefully, I have submitted 2 papers wherein I have proposed that, sports coaching and the technical aspect of the game should be brought in to the curriculum of skill development in the Government of India's Sports Development Mission. I hope I'll be able to, get through. Let's see. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, one more question over there.
My question is to Mr. Jayanta Talukdar. Unlike cricket, football or tennis, archery is not exactly a spectator oriented sports. So the corporates and sponsors don't get any mileage out of it actually, apart from medals in the Olympics or Asian Games. So how do you think you can get sponsors for this, or do you have to rely only on government help? Thank you.
Actually, when I started, there was no sponsorship other than Tata Steel. But now there are many archers who are getting support from many different companies, and also there are many non-profit organizations like Olympic Gold Quest and Reliance. They are also supporting many archers, and JSW. So even from oils and ONGC, they are also supporting. They have scholarship program. So there are many archers, even they are getting support, not just archers, I think many other sports person as well. But in archery, so far we have won medal in, even myself, won medal in Asian Games, Commonwealth Games, Asian Championship, World Championship. The only medal we haven't won is Olympic. I think we are still trying for Olympic medal. And once we win Olympic medal, then the corporates will definitely support archers. Even government is also supporting their some scheme, top scheme, then Khelo India. Through that also they are getting supports, monthly stipend and all. But I really believe that to start for any archers, the family support is very important. Just support, like, because like I just said, there are many parents, they already supported their kids buying their sports equipments and for their training and everything. I will just request to the parents that please give your support, not pressure, because pressure they won't handle, because they have to perform. And archery is a mental game. We need techniques, skill, and also power to pull a bow. And also it's a mental game. So whenever the archers get pressure, they won't be able to perform. And the corporate will definitely help. But from our side also, we have to, try to get archers to a certain level so that the corporate they'll be able to help them.
Just want to share a couple of things. It's like this. If you all see, because this is an esteemed crowd, as a sports person, there are certain things in my heart I would like to speak on. A sports person has a very limited lifespan. When I say lifespan, it's a playing lifespan. Okay? So 15 years, 18 years, from the day he or she starts, till his retirement days. Within that 15 to 20 years of, that span, he or she has to do a lot of things. Perform, train, perform, earn laurels for the state or country or district, and also get settled. So this is where the parents get scared. Now the parents get scared, like they say, should we allow my ward to go into full-time sports? This is where the responsibility of the society and the associations and the government comes in. So we need to create an ecosystem, build a system where the parents get full confidence in allowing their wards to go into full-time. How we do it is that the particular sports organizers has to ensure that a performing sports person needs to be engaged, they needs to be financially supported, and they needs to get engaged for their future. So if you say other organizations across Northeast, my organization, Oil India Limited, very silently since 1970s, Oil India has been engaging sports persons. We have had till today 787 sports persons recruited in Oil India Limited till 70s. Why? Because Oil India has been supporting rural sports by different platforms, by different means at different levels. So similarly, Tata Academy did it for the country. They picked up good players. Oil India also, we had massive contributions towards sports, field developments, training, recruitment of sports persons, giving that comfort, that confidence to the society that yes, if you do well, you are bound to get an opportunity in oil. And then subsequently came in, the railways are there, ONGC is there, then we have got many, like PNTs, Post and Telegraph, we have got so many organizations, LICs, they are also picking up players. But I would claim that Oil India was the pioneer. Since 70s we started engaging sports people. So this is how we develop a sports ecosystem, by giving confidence to the sports people, to the society, that yes, sports can be a full-time career.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. With this, we'll wrap up this panel discussion here, much more enlightened about how we have a gamut of talent to create a core identity for the region in national as well as international platforms.